So do you want to tell me a bit about how the Service User Leadership training programme has gone over the last few months for you?
Well, it's been a really good experience actually, and when it first started, the whole project, it was last August. I went to a pre-meeting, and the fact that I was being asked to attend and voice my feelings about it, and I felt really valued, and it really boosted my confidence, and I got quite excited about it. So when the training started, I had this good feeling, and but the training has been truly beneficial to me, also personally. So it did improve my relations as well with my health professionals. I was able to put into practice what I learned, and for the PQF, for the project, I think it's really necessary that people get such training to give them confidence. I think confidence is essential because we're not that confident. So I really feel the improvement.
Is the leadership development programme, is it different to anything that you've done before?
Yes, quite actually. The only recent training or course I did most recently was mindfulness. That's wonderful, and I'm really keen on mindfulness now, and I'm able to put mindfulness into practice into my everyday life, and it's the training is a bit like that. I think it has taught me a lot of personal skills, and I had to deal with people, a lot of interrelational relation skills, and that are really important, I think. And hopefully I'll be able to bring that to the trust and help other people that way.
And you've also been part of the start of the Patient Quality Forum.
Yes.
Do you want to say a bit about what it's been like being part of that new forum?
It was a bit, I must say, it was a bit hazy to start with because it's a new project, and so we didn't know really what was going on, and so there was a lot of questions and uncertainties, and but gradually I think because of asking questions, and Mark taught us how to do that, and so we're able to clarify things more, to feel more together, and I feel that we're more now ready to work as a team, which I think is really important, and not just like fighting between the two, between maybe patient users and the trust, but more like working together.
So how do you hope that the Patient Quality Forum might develop and have an impact in the future?
Well, I feel that if everybody's on the same level of understanding and we're all ready, to put into practice these good practices of good, communication between each other and everything, then I think we can develop something positive, even though I know some people have had bad experiences in the past of their involvement, and I'm aware of that, but luckily I'm quite fresh, so I don't have preconceptions or anything, so I'm more positive, but we have to take into considerations other people experiences. But I think this project is good, and I think I do want to to help, and if you can make a difference, then so I'll be really happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell me about how you have found the Service User Leadership Development Programme, which has been running over the last few months?
First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for inviting me. onto the training course. I found it very enlightening, very educational. I was taught about the communication aspect of actually communicating with management, which is something, I've been to many meetings, but it's something I've never been taught before. So we've always gone into a meeting knowing what we want and try to get an outcome. But in this respect, it teaches us about, for example, the source. What's the source of what we're going to do regarding the admin, how to compose things and actually how to encode them, and actually how to transmit our message. How do we deliver that? That was important. And also how to actually receive feedback from it. And of course, how we decode that feedback and eventually how we can sit, reflect, change and improve. Or what we did well, what we didn't do so well, and how can we improve it for next time.
Yeah.
So we can ready. So that whole cycle of communication to me was extremely important. The training was extremely important because one of the things we'll find is going to meeting with directors and managers, assistant managers, they tend to have another language, a complete jargon, and can be very intimidating because they're the one in position of power and they can change things. But we've got limited power, only a voice. I'd also like to thank you very much for the invitation, that it gives a voice to BME as a Shadow Council Governor for service users within Wandsworth. I'm pleased to have that opportunity to do so. Yeah.
And you've also been part of helping us set up the first of the Patient Quality Forum meetings. Do you want to say a bit about how you found that, how the setting up of the Patient Quality Forum has gone from your point of view?
From my point of view, it's gone very well in that I was involved. I was able to become involved. I was given the opportunity of involvement, of a voice. One of the most important things that I like was to actually receive all the documentation on what is going to happen at the meeting, various reports and patient in care, like the suicide rates, the last one about CAMS, which is to do with younger people within the mental health service, and statistics. I was very pleased that it also covered the Equality Act 2010, in that all the diversity and various characteristics were mentioned there. And I was nicely surprised that they even mentioned FGM, because FGM is a subject, very sensitive subject within the BME community, but it's actually been faced and put in paper. So I'm pleased there was a voice for that. I'm also pleased to interact with other service users to get their opinions, because they're coming from all over the borough, and although there's certain differences in personality, it's great to have that mix of personalities to do that.
Great. And going forward, do you see what the value of the Patient Quality Forum might be in the future, and how can it become more established and more useful, do you think? It can become established and more useful in that service users will have a voice to influence, to improve services for service users across all the boroughs as a whole. However, we are a bit concerned because the actual agenda, which is set for about 12 members to attend these meetings, is not going to be possible, and whether or not new people will be trained, how will we get new people. But it also carries with it anxieties, because it lists about 5 different directorates which will be there, and this can be quite intimidating, but I don't think it will happen in the future. How will it be able to go forward? It will be able to go forward on the basis it's co-production. The managers, the directors, they must listen and act
very often they take what the service users say, or they make a note of it, but they don't actually act upon it. There's no follow-up action, and sometimes there's no feedback, and sometimes the service users themselves become despondent. However, we still are given that voice to influence, and that I'm very, very pleased about.
Mark, you've been leading the Service User Leadership Development Programme. How's it gone?
It's been fantastic. I feel really honoured and privileged to be part of it, actually, because the purpose was to support a group of service users to come together to reflect on how they could work better together as a team to represent, to be representative of the service user voice, and to work with the trust really effectively and collaboratively in order to try and take forward that agenda to ensure that services met the patient needs, service users' needs, etc., etc. And I think what I've been pleased to see is that there's a real desire to want to be involved and to want to make a difference, and a desire to actually create a different relationship with the trust. So we've got a group of people who have had an opportunity to think about how they can communicate effectively, how they can build a different relationship between themselves and the trust, and how they can, when I say communicate differently, communicate in a way where together with the trust they can collaborate and I think it's already been said, co-design, co-produce, work together to find different ways forward. And I think the key thing which is different about this training, and which is quite a challenge, is you're asking a group of people whose traditional relationship with the trust was very much one of patient and service user with medical or healthcare professionals. And there's quite a power differential, and there's an expertise role residing often within the medical professionals. And although they're service users and expert by experience, what they've really learned is how can we create a different relationship which involves us working strategically, which is a very, without support or training, it's quite different to change that it's quite difficult to change that relationship.